A serious breach in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's security is our top focus on India first. For close to 20 minutes, the Prime Minister of India was stranded on a flyover. The SPG had to close in. Vehicles came on. Security cleared sanitized road on the opposite side as the Prime Minister's cavalcade was racing ahead. Union Minister Smriti Irani launched a frontal attack saying, why did the Punjab police give a false assurance of a sanitized road and all clear if there was a blockade on road? The BJP has alleged a sinister conspiracy. Punjab's Chief Minister Channi defended the Punjab government, insisting that there was no conspiracy and the Prime Minister's life was not under threat. Manjeet Sehgal and Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu bring you our top story.
It was supposed to be the Prime Minister's first rally in Punjab after the 3 farm laws were revoked. The rally in Ferozepur was also seen as kick-starting the BJP's campaign in poll-bound Punjab.
ये कार्यक्रम को हम पोस्टपोन कर रहे हैं और फिर आने वाले दिनों में प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इच्छा रखी है कि आप सबके बीच में वो अवश्य आएंगे.
But in a major breach to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's security, the convoy had to stop on a flyover for 20 minutes. After it was found that some protesters were blocking the highway. This happened 30 kilometers away from National Martyrs Memorial in Hossainiwala in Punjab. The original plan was for Prime Minister Modi to travel by helicopter from Bhatinda, but due to bad weather, it was decided that he would go by road. According to the Home Ministry, the PM embarked on the road trip after the DGP Punjab confirmed necessary security arrangements. But midway on a flyover, Prime Minister's convoy had to make an abrupt stop after protesters blocked the road. After a 20-minute wait, the Prime Minister's convoy returned to Bhatinda Airport. At Bhatinda, the Prime Minister took a pot shot at the Congress government, telling airport officials to thank CM Channi that he had got back alive. What makes this breach extremely serious is the fact that Prime Minister is a maximum security protectee. His convoy path is sanitized in advance, and any unplanned stops by convoy is banned. With Kamaljeet Sandhu and Manjeet Sehgal in Punjab, Bureau Report, India Today.
So there is a big political showdown that's erupted over the Prime Minister's security breach. The BJP has called it Congress's khooni irada to assassinate Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Punjab Chief Minister, however, says there was no security lapse. It was a regular protest by farmers and the Congress could not open fire at farmers or forcibly remove them.
It's the biggest security breach in recent years. Protesters blocked the convoy of the Indian Prime Minister in Punjab. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's cavalcade was stalled for 20 minutes when he was on his way to address a rally and inaugurate a slew of projects in Bhatinda. The security lapse has triggered the latest face-off in poll-bound Punjab. The BJP is training all its guns on the Congress government in Punjab, accusing them of willfully blocking the Prime Minister's rally. BJP President JP Nadda took to Twitter and accused the Charanjit Singh Channi government of giving protesters access to the Prime Minister's route. This was when the Punjab DGP had assured the route is clear. Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi denied all the allegations and said that the Prime Minister's security personnel were informed about the blockade.
हेलीपैड से हेलीकॉप्टर पे जाना था, अचानक प्रोग्राम सड़क पे जाने का बनाया गया, जो कि प्रोग्राम में नहीं था, पहले से नहीं था. सेफ साइड के लिए प्रधानमंत्री जी को बोला गया कि आप पीछे आ जाएं, हम अदर रूट या बाई हेलीपैड आपको ले चलते हैं, लेकिन उन्होंने वापस जाने का फैसला किया.
BJP's IT chief Amit Malviya called the security breach an assassination attempt. Malviya called the Congress unable to defeat Prime Minister Modi in elections was resorting to unconstitutional means to eliminate him.
पंजाब की पुण्य धरती पर कांग्रेस के खूनी इरादे नाकाम रहे।
लेकिन पंजाब सरकार ने बीच रास्ते में ही हाथ खड़े कर दिए कि हम सुरक्षा नहीं दे सकते, तो पीएम वापस गए हैं। जहां सुरक्षा नाम की चीज नहीं है, जहां कानून का राज नहीं है, वो हमारी बात सत्य हुई।
पंजाब के अंदर जिस तरह से आज प्रधानमंत्री जी की रैली के अंदर सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच हुआ, बहुत बड़ी सेंध लगी। ये कोई अचानक नहीं हुआ, मैं बार बार कहता रहा और मैं फिर आज कहने जा रहा हूं। कांग्रेस एक डिजाइन्ड कॉन्स्पिरेसी के तरीके से, एक डिजाइन मॉडल के तरीके से हमें पूरी दुनिया में बदनाम करती आई और करना चाहती है।
Congress has rejected the charges. It claims the BJP is blaming it after failing to attract crowds for its rally in Bhatinda.
Punjab witnessed an unprecedented political drama by a BJP which has lost return on its face, which has been rejected by the people of Punjab.
हमारी सुरक्षा व्यवस्था में किसी तरह की कोई कमी नहीं है कि जो किसान है वो बीजेपी के खिलाफ हैं और वो वहाँ पे प्रदर्शन कर रहे थे और प्रधानमंत्री जी का अचानक मौसम खराब होने की वजह से वो जो बाई रूट जो है वो काफिला चला था, रास्ते में उन्होंने प्रदर्शन किया और कुछ समय के लिए उन्हें रुकना पड़ा।
The BJP's former ally in Punjab, the Akali Dal, called the security breach a failure of the state government.
प्राइम मिनिस्टर का जो काफिला था वो रास्ते में रुका, बहुत गंभीर इशू। ये स्टेट में 100% लॉ एंड ऑर्डर कोलैप्स होने का आपके सामने सबूत है और हम पहले दिन से कह रहे हैं कि स्टेट की लॉ एंड ऑर्डर व्यवस्था जो है फेल हो चुकी है।
As the center-state blame game ensues over the breach, the question arises: who is responsible for the lapse in security of the head of the Indian state? And more importantly, should the Prime Minister's security become a tool for electoral politics? Bureau Report, India Today.
Abhishek Dutt of the Congress Party, Shehzad Poonawala of the Bharatiya Janata Party join me on the broadcast. We also have SP Ved, former Director General of Police, joining us on the show to give us a police perspective on this. But before I come to our guests, I quickly want to cut across to Meenakshi Lekhi, Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture, joining me from Amritsar. Meenakshi Lekhi, Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi says the Prime Minister was supposed to take a helicopter. There was a last-minute change and it was he who chose to travel by road, resulting in this situation that arose, ma'am.
Can I just ask Mr. Channi one question? That when Prime Minister got off at Bhatinda and he's waited there for 15 minutes, he asked the security agencies whether the roads are clear or not. And he was given a go-ahead that roads are clear, you can take off and you can go. And he went off after an assurance by the state agencies. And after getting an agency support, and for a few hours, he was on the road and going towards Ferozepur. Just 15 kilometers short of Ferozepur at Wazirpur, this particular incident happened. And thus, agencies knew very well, the state organizations knew very well that the Prime Minister was on his way. And only after their assurance did he drive down from Bhatinda. And whenever Prime Minister's route is there, all kinds of exigencies and advances are made clear of. There are even alternate routes which are suggested. Yes. So very clearly, when Channi says this, that means he was part of the conspiracy. That once they knew which route he's coming from, they started working on the blockade, and that is why these blockades happened. And which is very evident the manner in which these blockades were carried out.
That's a very serious charge you level, ma'am. You're saying that the Chief Minister of Punjab was part of this conspiracy where the Prime Minister of the country was stranded at a flyover for 20 minutes. The Punjab Chief Minister, of course, also insists that there was no threat to the Prime Minister's life or security, that there were protesters, but no threat to the Prime Minister's cavalcade, ma'am.
You know, Mr. Channi, who is from Punjab, and I'm sure he's around this age that he would have witnessed 84 and beyond. This was definitely a threat to his life. Any breach in Prime Minister's security, a blockade on the road. Otherwise, why do you say route laga hua hai? The route means there is no vehicle, nobody allowed on that track. And this man himself is a chief minister who's using all these things.
Okay.
So either he's either he's a novice who knows nothing.
Okay. Or in your appreciation, ma'am, who's responsible for this breach in the Prime Minister's security? Is it the mistake or fault of the police, the administration, or are you blaming the Congress party leadership and the Chief Minister, ma'am?
Gaurav, I will share one short snippet with you. And the snippet is about an SP or a DSP of Ferozepur who they have suspended. The fact they have suspended someone, have they suspended someone without any breach? First. Secondly, this particular person is a scapegoat because it is not the DSP or the SP, but it is what is happening at the political instance that politicians are guiding the administration to act in a certain way. Because it was not just the Prime Minister's vehicle which was stopped, but the kind of messaging which is happening on WhatsApp right now, Congress councillors, because I'm sitting in Amritsar, I can share those messages with you. Okay. So very clearly, the Congress missionary is behind all this. And the machinations are for everyone to see. The machination also is that on 32 places and more, the BJP workers' buses were stopped, which were leading to Ferozepur because people were joining in from all parts of Punjab. Now, that is, you think that is possible without the political patronage? Answer is no. We also do politics, we also travel across, and we also know how these things are managed and manipulated. People responsible for this will have to pay the price for doing this.
You're saying people responsible for this will have to pay a price for this. What does this mean, ma'am, that people responsible for this will have to pay? What does the government at the center intend to do now?
The issue at stake is the law and order. The issue at stake is the security of the state. The issue at stake is the fact that this is a border state. The issue at stake is that this state is already suffering from drug trafficking to all kinds of narcotic ill dealings. And the issue at stake is the people of the state are definitely angry with the Congress and the erstwhile governments because they feel they have not done enough for the people. Okay. And disrespecting or causing the breach to the Prime Minister's convoy is something which people will not tolerate. Okay. And they are going to answer it for us.
Okay. The Congress, of course, says that the Bharatiya Janata Party was worried looking at empty chairs at the Prime Minister's rally. And that's the reason that this entire episode, according to the Congress, was staged as diversionary tactics.
Now, I have a counter question to that. If that was so, you should have eased his way. What was your problem? Politically, look at it. Look at the nonsense they are talking. One or the two arguments will be true. If chairs are empty, you should have smoothened the way for him. But why did you not? Because your instructions were anyone coming from road, the roads have to be blocked. And that is why Prime Minister's convoy, along with everybody else, was blocked. And the blockade was caused by none other than Channi and the gang. Doesn't matter, we will answer it. The Channi and gang will have to answer this before the public. And they will have to tell what all is happening in Punjab. They will have to give answers to people. Now imagine, just look at it from the political perspective. Chairs are empty, very good. I would say if chairs were empty, you should have smoothened the way. What is the problem? Okay. The fact is, along with the Prime Minister, they had caused blockades all across on all roads. And we will release the videos of our workers being beaten up, people who have bled, women who have been badly treated. And can you imagine in Punjab, which is a state which gives food to anyone, everyone, whoever walks in, there's never dearth of food, and people are very warm-hearted. In a state like Punjab, people have snatched food packets from the vehicles who were coming in the buses, because usually if we are mobilizing people, food packets are provided in the buses. Those food packets have been snatched from people's hands. You think the villagers will do that?
So you're saying it's a political conspiracy. You're blaming Channi and gang, as you put it, for joining me here on India First. Meenakshi Lekhi, many thanks.
Thank you.
Let me now throw this open to our panel. Abhishek Dutt of the Congress Party, Shehzad Poonawala of the BJP, and SP Vaid, former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir. Abhishek Dutt, the question that the BJP is asking is, why was the Prime Minister's route not sanitized? Was a wrong report given to the SPG by the Punjab police, sir?
You know, I have with me letter issued by the Prime Minister's office, the officer on special duty, which had officially announced the Prime Minister's route, in which there is no mention about the Prime Minister moving by road. My first point. Second point, I have been part of ASLs of SPG protectees. Anyone who is responsible for this mess, whether it is from the PMO, SPG, or any other officer on duty, strong action should be taken against them. I'm repeating again, strong action should be taken against them. Till now, there have been no statement by the PMO or by the security. It is one tweet by ANI which has instigated all this. The biggest question is, Kisan Sangharsh Mazdoor Committee has been objecting to Prime Minister's visit, demanding 4 issues. First, removal of Mr.
And does that mean that the Punjab police will not sanitize the route for the Prime Minister of India? Whatever the issue that anybody in this country will have.
Listen.
No, sir.
Allow me to complete. No,
my time. Sir, my question is, the issue today is the Prime Minister's security. Irrespective of issue that anybody may have in this country, will they block the Prime Minister's security? Irrespective of issue that anybody may have.
Mr. Channi, the Honorable Chief Minister of Punjab, very categorically said they gave the choice to the Prime Minister to fly by chopper in an alternate route, but he denied any
in an inclement weather. Fair enough. Let me take it to Shehzad Poonawala. Shehzad Poonawala, how is this an assassination attempt? Congress says there were protesters who were waving BJP flags and saying Modi Zindabad. Congress is saying all of this is orchestrated.
Gaurav, first of all, like the name of your show, India First, the Prime Minister's security and whoever may be the Prime Minister can never be subject matter of political and ideological interferences. It has to be sacrosanct. And therefore, we have to adopt the policy of Rashtra Niti, not Rajniti over Rashtriya Suraksha. And let me tell you why I tell you this is it's not a Sayog, it is a Prayog, and it is a khooni sajish by the Congress. It is a conspiracy, not a coincidence. Firstly, it is right what Mr. Abhishek Dutt is showing. That document, first of all, how does he have it? This means the Congress party has leaked it to their functionaries. That itself indicts them, but leave that aside. Yes, the original plan was to go by the chopper, but the weather was not right. Therefore, the DGP was asked, and the DGP gave a go ahead that yes, you can take the route from a particular road. Now, that route was given by the DGP after making sure that it was completely safe for the Prime Minister, and this is only done by the local police. It's not done by the SPG, as anybody here would tell you. And we have an officer, police officer also. Now, why did the DGP A give a fake clearance? B, if he has given a route, why was it not sanitized? C, the Congress people say 10,000 policemen were there and they still failed to actually sanitize the route. 4, why was the situation such that these paid political mercenaries, and I don't call them protesters, were allowed to come to this route? Who leaked this information that this particular route will be taken by the Prime Minister and allowed them to come? 6, there were videos, and I can show you videos. Gaurav.
Let me bring in Mr.
Gaurav, let me just complete
this conversation.
Gaurav, just let me complete 20 seconds, then you can go ahead.
I will come back to you for this, but Mr. Vaid,
I'm making a very important point, Gaurav.
I'll come back to you, sir. Is this a security breach? Is this a lapse in your appreciation? You've heard both the Congress and the BJP. Is this a lapse on the part of the SPG or the Punjab police and administration?
Gaurav, Prime Minister is the chief executive of the country, highest elected office, and his security is paramount in the country. And we also in the J&K, when our Prime Minister was visiting, you know, it was nightmare to you. One could not sleep for 2-3 nights such massive arrangements have to be made. And it is a massive security breach. What I saw, you can't have a Prime Minister on a route which is not sanitized, which is, you can't give Prime Minister route which is not security cleared. So I see it as a massive security breach. If protesters were there, why were they not removed? And without sanitization, why was Prime Minister allowed to travel on this route?
Abhishek, it's a very serious issue, sir. Did the Punjab government play with the life of the Prime Minister of this country? He was sent on a route which wasn't sanitized, Abhishek Dutt.
Gaurav, I remember you playing a very similar story in Varanasi when a group of, girls from BHU stopped the Honorable Prime Minister. After that, his route was changed. At that time, there was no debate. It's a very simple logic. The Prime Minister, SPG, decided
who changes the route, sir?
To travel by car. 1 second, let me complete. They decided last minute to travel by car, after which you've shown images of the rally. There were no people inside. When the Honorable Chief Minister very clearly said alternate route and chopper arrangement was provided for him to go back, but he denied and he went back to the airport. Tell me one thing, was there one ASL done by the SPG? The officer on the show with us will very clearly said, whenever the Prime Minister has to travel, in case as the backup, SPG has to do a ASL drive on the road along with all the officers. Not even a single ASL drill was done by the SPG. Last minute arrangements are being done. When options are being given to fly by chopper, you deny those options. And at the same time, the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson is doing the same mistake again. First you call them Khalistani, first you call them terrorists, and today when all these farmers are protesting, 2 meetings were held with their minister, Gajendra Shekhawat, asking for the 4 demands. Till today, they have no answers to the 4 demands. Yes, the farmers are very, very upset with the Prime Minister. 700 farmers.
So they will block the Prime Minister of India's cavalcade, and you will actually justify it when the government has issued an official statement saying he could not go by helicopter because of inclement weather. Fair enough. You may choose to play politics with the security of the Prime Minister of this country. The government has said he could not fly because of the government has said he could not fly because of the inclement weather. So what does the helicopter route mean? But respond Shehzad Poonawala. Congress says if some protesters came, Channi, the Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi says, can't shoot protesters or lathi charge them. Effort is to persuade them. BJP is overreacting, and also saying, why didn't the Prime Minister take the helicopter?
And one more thing. Till last night, till 3 a.m. early morning, he was trying to convince...
now I request you, Gaurav, please let's not make this unfair for me.
No,
Gaurav, this is not fair. Let me have my say, and I hope you'll give me a minute to explain. Yes. Gaurav, first of all, you don't need to shoot the so-called protesters. I don't call them protesters. They were mercenaries of the Congress party, but certainly the police should not have been having tea with them, and I can give you videos of that. The rally was full of people. I'm showing you the picture of the rally. The rally was full of people. That's not the point. The point is that Abhishek Dutt also knows the weather was inclement. Therefore, the Prime Minister chose after the DGP's clearance to go by road. So there was no question of taking a chopper. But here are 3 points, and answer them specifically. Point number 1. It is a protocol for the CM or the Chief Secretary or the DGP to receive and then accompany the Prime Minister. All 3 vehicles were there, but they were absent. Did the Chief Minister and others know that this was going to happen? Point number 2. The Chief Minister said, I did not go because I had been in company with somebody who tested positive. Yet that didn't prevent him from doing an interview at 2 o'clock, 2:30 with a TV channel, and then come for a press conference without a mask with people in physical proximity of him. Okay. So what kind of explanation is that? Point number 3. The specific questions, why was the Congress party functionaries like Mr. Srinivasan and Archana Sharma, the spokesperson, celebrating it? Archana Sharma, the spokesperson, says कि ये तो शुक्र मानो चन्नी थे वरना ये वापस नहीं जा पाते. Mr. Srinivasan says, how's the Josh? Is this a matter to play politics? And if nothing was wrong, why was Mr. Jhakar tweeting that this is against Punjabiyat? Why did the Deputy CM say that yes, this was a lapse? Why have they suspended the Ferozepur SP who's been made a lamb and sacrificed as a scapegoat? The point is that even the Congress party, certain people with spine are accepting that today at bare minimum it's a lapse. But this is actually a conspiracy to assassinate the Prime Minister. time and again the Congress party has stood with enemical forces, whether it is surgical strike, whether it's Balakot or whether it's
Mr. Dutt and Mr. Poonawalla, I will come back to the story in the coming days. I've run out of time on this part of the show. But was this a security breach, or is there merit that this was far more sinister? A quick break. Business Today with Udayan Mukherjee coming up.